Hi, Robin here at Toadstool Tarot. Subject of the day is Patrick Valenza, whom everybody knows and loves from the Deviant Moon Tarot, which I don't have. Maybe the only deck of his I don't have, because I do like his artwork. But the Deviant Moon has a sort of mechanical, industrial, dark, urban quality, sort of surrealist steampunk or something. It just kind of didn't really appeal to me initially, and the coloring either. I thought, when I saw it, and I saw the popularity with the bordered and unbordered or borderless versions, I thought, well, maybe if it comes out in a tin, I'll go ahead and order it. Well, it hasn't yet. In the meantime, I've had this kind of Goldilocks syndrome with Patrick Valenza, in that the other decks available weren't a good fit. They were either too large, too small, not the right system, just not right for me. I think the first one I ordered, despite my issues, was Mildred Payne's Oracle of Black Enchantment. Now, I ordered this because I actually really liked the coloring in the cards. They are sort of this is indicative of the coloring, black, monotone black on brown paper, and like old woodcuts, and I like that. So I went ahead and ordered it, and I love the images. The card size is too large for me. It's very difficult for me to shuffle these, and the images are in a landscape format, which is perhaps problematical. It's not what I'm used to. And the images are amazing. But I haven't found this usable as an oracle yet. As much as I love the images and they sort of tell a story, I haven't been able to use it as a tarot or an oracle. So anyway, there was that. Then everybody talked about Mildred Payne's Pocket Oracle, which I went ahead and ordered, and the marketing is weird. It's kind of brilliant, but like skewed in a weird way. He sent a deck. I think there was actually a little eensy-weensy box, but the box only covered some bonus cards and the initial deck, which this is a deck I'm finding too small as part of my Goldilocks syndrome. And not only that, but the initial deck, the little white book, if you want to call it that, didn't fit in the box. It's too big. It did come with a little velvet pouch, but it also didn't have all the cards. He released an expansion pack later with more cards, which I ordered, about 10 or 15 more, because there were a few in there that I really liked. And I thought, why would you why would you put out an incomplete deck and then later issue more cards that sort of don't stand on their own because the numbering is higher above the first deck, and they kind of need to go together, and you kind of need or want them all. But then when you order the second one, they don't all fit in the initial box, and it also comes with a little white book. Not really a little white book, a little brown sheet, which also doesn't fit. So you have those, and he's real good about sending all these little extra bonus cards and little bits of extras, which is fun, but they don't really have any bearing on the deck itself. And I mean, that is, I like little decks, but this is dinky. This one's too small to shuffle comfortably, especially with the expansion pack. It makes the deck so thick that little cards are hard to shuffle when it's that thick of a deck. So twice now, it's like the cards are too large, the cards are too small. So, and I think they do all fit in a little bag like this. Eventually, what I did is I put all the bonus cards and the bag and all the extra sheets in a storage box, and I put the deck itself. I bought a little plastic soap dish container that holds the cards kind of in two stacks, that sort of stores them. But I just kind of wish they would come in a nice little tin or a nice little box that fits them just right, and not all this extraneous stuff. Like, give me everything you want to give me in one deck. Maybe at some other time you want to release just a collector's extras stuff full of all these weird bonus cards and mismatched sizes and stuff. I don't know. So I also told a friend of mine about his work because he likes sort of dark imagery too. And because this was cheaper, he went and ordered the 29 disturbing cabinet cards in the Carte de Visite, which this deck actually is the right size, but it's only got 29 cards, and it's neither an oracle nor a tarot. They're sort of like visiting cards, curiosities, and ultimately he found this deck too creepy for him, and he likes creepy stuff, old horror movie memorabilia collection and so on, and he ended up gifting this to me. So I have that, and I thought, well, I'd really like to have a deck of his that is the right size and the right art quality that works for me. And I saw this one, the Trionfi Della Luna. I thought, well, I really like the color palette in that deck, and it's a tarot deck. That seems to be the right size, but it was a Pip deck, a Marseille deck, and at the time I didn't read Marseille. I've only recently gotten into it. So there was also a deck called the Abandoned Oracle, and at the time I was buying Oracle decks if they weren't like really oversized ones. If they were normally sized, I was drawn to them. And this one had the color palette of the Trionfi, apparently. So I put in a pre-order because it looked like if you didn't pre-order, you might miss out and not get them. And I really wanted them. So I've been anxiously waiting for, was it April or May? April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months now. And I've been told because they're printed in Hong Kong and there's an issue there that what was originally projected as a delay to the end of September is now a delay to the end of October. I may never pre-order a deck again, even if it's his stuff. I'll just wait till it comes out and take my chances. So now I'm still waiting on the Abandoned Oracle and hopeful that sometime in October I'll receive it and love it. But in the meantime, I got really antsy and I started investigating Marseille, and I thought, no, I need something to hold me over till that Abandoned Oracle shows. So I went ahead and I ordered the Trionfi Della Luna. Now, this is a beautiful box, beautiful coloring, right size cards. Everything's right, except, I'm not sure still about Marseille. I'm still kind of weighing that out. But let me show you this. And a lot of people have seen it already, but the box is amazing. Here's one side. There's a little eye up here in the flap. I don't usually like tuck boxes, but a lot was put into this one. It's glossy. On the back, there's this other image. On one end, there's that image. On the bottom, there's yet another image. On the side, a little explanation and another image. And then on this side, another little image and the title. So let me open this up for you. It's a little tricky to get open because the top box is cut in such a way that these little cut flaps tend to stick on the little tabs, and you have to be careful not to tear the top getting it open. A consideration, consider, some other kind of box, like a liftoff box, Patrick. Inside, another beautiful little detail on those little tabs, more illustrations, moons, little moons. So this is sort of based on a traditional deck that goes back hundreds of years. It's his version. And I'll say here and now that I think that Patrick Valenza is the 21st century answer to Hieronymus Bosch. He has really dark figures that are devilish and mischievous and creepy and scary, but with a sense of sort of dark humor to them and a satiric mode. Here's the title card. Beautiful. This is the English text version. I think there's more than one. It's another thing. This has a copyright of 2018 on it, but I think somewhere on the box, somewhere it says 2019 edition. So I don't know what the deal is, whether I got a new one or an old one. I suspect an old one. These are the card backs, which I think are reversible. Yes, and don't seem to have any copyright info on them, which I appreciate. Let me walk you through these. The color palette is gorgeous. And all the characters have these sort of moon-based faces. And like I said, it's sort of a surrealist approach. I love the color palette, if I haven't said that already 2 or 3 times. It's a little bit comical and pretty twisted. Monstrous figures from some other medieval realm of the underworld or interplanetary or who knows what. This probably isn't new to too many of you. To those that it is, I'm sure you'll appreciate these. And if you're a Marseille fan, and you're not quite taken with the old traditional woodcut cards, this might be a contemporary one that you take on or embrace. I haven't worked with it yet. I'm still sort of slogging through a book that the Marseille Tarot Revealed. I enjoy the book, but I'm not a particularly fast reader, and I'm kind of reserving judgment on the Marseille until I completely get through the book, and I haven't hit the bit focusing on the pip cards yet. I do like what I've seen spoken about by Enrique Enriquez in the movie Tarology on Amazon Prime, and he really opens up my world to a whole new way of looking at images and has me intrigued and opening up to the possibilities of Marseille. I've also recently ordered a deck that I love the imagery of, and will review as soon as it comes in, but it's not due for another week or two yet. And that one is a major arcana only deck with no labels and no numbering, which I love the idea of. And the images are artistically rendered and not, and they're enough in the tradition to identify them without labels. If you know your major cards, it's easy to see which one is the Fool and the Magician and Temperance and so on. But that's my first deck, and I spent a fortune on it. It's the first deck that is my majors only deck, and I debated whether or not to shell out for it, but the artwork was so amazing, I decided to risk it. Now so my next thing is investigating, can I work with a majors only deck, and if I can, do I need the pips in the Marseille deck? Or if I like a particular Marseille deck, do I just put the pips aside? I actually want to do an exercise with Rider-Waite-Smith, sort of a game of solitaire, and I'll challenge you all to that, whereby I lay out the majors and then go one by one through the minors and see whether they might fall or lay under a major that has a similar meaning. In other words, could the minor card be somehow subsumed or absorbed into the meaning of a major, making it basically not as important, which I'm assuming can be done if there are majors only decks out there that apparently don't seem to think that the minors are essential. And my understanding is that most of these decks were originally gaming decks, and these pips have evolved into our playing cards. So I'm not sure in the original game how the majors came into play, or whether they were put aside and left the minors to be used for gambling and gaming. I have a couple of questions for Patrick. One of them is, look at this card. You'll see this again in the Ace of Swords. See the little pinky sticking out? I'd like to ask Patrick, does he habitually drink his coffee or tea with his pinky hanging out? Or does he fold it in, like many of us do? It's a tradition in some parts to hold your cup and leave your pinky out there. And he seems to like that, incorporating it into the visuals in this deck. But I wonder if he actually uses it in his manner of tea or coffee consumption. In many ways, the images in this deck are like the Deviant Moon images I've seen, but, see, there's the pinky again, but they are more sort of old-fashioned and not contemporary, apocalyptic, urban, night, dark alley, oil spill, and jagged metal quality, and uh, furnace flame spires and, you know, that kind of darker element, which I didn't like in those cards. I'll just say I wasn't drawn to it. I won't say I didn't like it. It just kind of didn't appeal to me. But he's made his fame on that deck, the Deviant Moon. Now, here comes my second question for Patrick. Because, oh, that was the completion of the deck. However, he has included an additional card. And I don't know what one is to do with these bonus cards he includes. This one is called the Lightning, but it's numbered number 16, which is the same as the Tower, which leads me to believe he wants you to pick or choose. Would you prefer your tower falling down or your tree being struck by lightning? Make the choice. And I don't know if I want to make the choice. You know, I mean, why are you leaving that choice up to me? If you're leaving the choice to me, maybe I put both of them in the deck, but then why not leave this card numberless or give it a new number, you know, like 16.5 or 23, you know, I don't know. On top of that, he's included 10 bonus cards in the deck, which are in a horizontal format. And these are beautiful cards. I'm not sure if they're their own sort of oracle. There's no guidebook in the box. There's no information on that. I think there might be some information online, but I don't know. Just like 10 cards in a deck isn't enough to me for a deck. The 22 majors that I've sent away for of this other deck I told you about, even that I'm not sure is enough. But and some people have just, like, you know, folded these into the Trionfi to use, which I don't know how they would use them. They seem very different. But, you know, I love your art and I love having these, but why confuse me by putting them in with this deck? Like I said, you should just release a little treasure chest of all these extra bonus mismatched cards and sizes and collectibles, you know. I mean, they're fun to have as art cards, but if you wanted this as an oracle, why did you stop at 10? Why didn't you give us, you know, 20 or more? I mean, who knows? Maybe these somehow find their way into the abandoned oracle. I hope not, because the pictures I've seen of the abandoned oracle are portrait orientation, and that would really kind of mess with my head to have them some portrait and some landscape. I don't really like having to turn my cards around when I'm using them. So I'm hoping that they're all the same orientation. Beautiful art, beautiful cards. He does beautiful work, but really fucks with your head, you know. It really messes your mind to, you know, his marketing. It's sort of brilliant, but also kind of pisses me off too. So I'm happy to have this deck, and we'll see how it works for me as a Marseille deck with the damn tuck box, the damn beautiful but still damn tuck box. I hate them. And in the meantime, all my other decks that I very rarely drag out from time to time to look at, the visiting cards, the Black Enchantment Oracle, and the Mildred's Pocket, are mostly just sitting on my shelf, waiting for me to revisit them and not really work with them, but, you know, just look at the art and love the art. Maybe he needs to stop making cards and put out art books. I don't know. I can hear people that are fans screaming in the background, "No, don't stop making those cards." But I think you can possibly appreciate my frustration over all the issues I presented. And I'll leave it at that. And see you soon with more deck reviews, and possibly the Abandoned Oracle will have arrived by then. We are now, what is it, the 23rd of September? So I should have more in the next week or two to share with you. In the meantime, if you did like this, don't forget to click like and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and click the bell for updates. I will have my third live broadcast in about a week. It's the first Monday in October at, what time did I say? I think 4 p.m. New York City time, which is still problematic. I did it so the UK folks could tune in before bedtime, but most of them turn in early, not much after 9. And the folks here in the US, a lot of them aren't back from work yet at 4 p.m. So there just doesn't seem to be like the right time for everybody to catch the live ones and participate. But you can always watch them later and leave notes in the comments below. In the meantime, have a great week, and I'll see you all soon. Robin at Toadstool Tarot saying goodbye.